All right, the objective for this last lesson for module 1 that we're going to cover is I can solve additive compare word problems with tape diagrams. And so basically what that means is we're just going to use tape diagrams to help model these problems and help us solve them. So in the multi-step word problems we did for addition and subtraction, these problems are the exact same thing. The only thing we're doing different is we're using tape diagrams to help you set up the problems to solve them easier. All right, so remember, a tape diagram is basically just a long rectangle, right? Piece of tape. So we're going to start with this. A bakery used 14,365 kilograms of flour. All right, they're telling you, so that's the total. All right, so this whole piece of tape, this whole tape diagram is this much. All right, of that, 1,608 was whole wheat, so part of it was whole wheat. So part of this total was whole wheat. Okay. 777 kilograms was rice flour. Okay, so another part was rice flour. Right. Now it says the rest was all-purpose flour. Now we don't know how much that is, right? So you can just put AP if you want, all-purpose. How much all-purpose flour did they use? So the purpose of the tape diagram is just to show you, I think it helps you see how you're going to solve this, right? So we know this whole thing is this amount, right? And we know this part of it, and we know this part of it. We just have to figure out the rest, okay? So to figure out what's missing, you have to figure out what you know so far. So I know this much of my tape diagram. So what you do first is you add those two together. Okay, so these two kinds of flour total 2,385 kilograms. All right, I need to know what the rest is. In other words, I know this. What do I need to add to this to get our total? Okay, so how would I figure that out? I would subtract. So I'm taking the total, subtracting what I know to find out what I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to borrow a few times here. Bad one. It's 8, and it's a 0. Okay, so the remaining part which is what they're asking for. The all-purpose flour is 11,980 kilograms. And you can check to see if you're right by adding this with this to see if you get the total they gave you from the beginning. Okay? Again, this is a video you may want to rewatch. Even right now, you may want to go back to the beginning and double check that you understand this, or when you start your independent work, go back and watch this so you understand what to do. All right. Second kind of problem is hippos. A pair of hippos weighted. That's incorrect. Should be weighed. Let's get the right look. I'm giving you a grammar lesson too. A pair of hippos weighed 6,304 kilograms together. All right, together, that's the total. So if I'm going to draw a tape diagram, 6,304 is the whole thing. All right, the female weighed 2,405 kilograms. How much more did the male weigh than the female? Okay, not how much did the male weigh, how much more. This one's tricky, but in order to figure that out, first here's the female, here's the male. In order to figure that out, first we have to find out how much the male weighed. So how would you figure out how much the male hippo weighed? Okay, if you said subtract the female's weight from the total, great job, you were correct. So I'm going to do that first. 3, 8, 9, 9. Okay. So the male weighed 3,899 kilograms. But that's not what they're asking, remember? They want to know how much more did the male weigh than the female. So how would I figure out how much more the male weighed than the female? What would I do? Okay, if you said, let me erase, if you said subtract the male's weight, I'm sorry, the female's weight from the male's weight, you rock. And if you didn't get it, if you're struggling at all, don't stress, don't worry about it. We will practice this, I promise. All right. So the answer is the difference between the male and the female is 1,494, and we want to label it kilograms. Okay. So again, you may want to rewatch this video while you're trying to do your practice work if you have any trouble. And if you still struggle through it, don't worry, don't